Begin Self-Publishing, episode number 31, Overcoming Blocks.
Interested in self-publishing but don't know where to start? Want to get your book onto Amazon? Want to hold your paperback book in your hands? Learn how on the Begin Self-Publishing podcast with your host, Tim Lewis.
In this episode, I'm going to take you through some of the ways I try to overcome blocks, whether they are in writing or in other areas of life. I don't make a distinction between writer's block and any other kind of block. It's almost like a psychological phenomenon that all of us has to encounter at some stage in our lives. Personally, I really suffer from getting blocked. For example, at the moment, I'm blocked on something. I've been saying since the end of October that I was going to create a Udemy video course about self-publishing. How much have I actually done so far? Absolutely zero. Absolutely nothing. Now, I've made various excuses. I've been busy with NaNoWriMo, been busy with Christmas. But now I'm into January and I should really be cracking on with getting the video course done. But I'm blocked. This is one of the reasons why I decided to record this show. The next couple of shows will be interview shows back in the normal format again, getting back into the new year. So I was looking for a topic for this week's show. And it occurred to me that my own frustration with being blocked on my Udemy course probably parallels the experiences some of you have had on your own writing journeys. I've certainly had forms of writer's block. A lot of people mock writer's block and say you don't get talker's block. But that's not really understanding the issue. Writer's block is just basically a block at starting a book. So why do we get blocked? I've come up with a few reasons, and I'm sure there are other reasons as well. One of them is just the fear of the new. If you do some new activity, then it's going to require you to change your routine and do something that is unsettling to you. If you're somebody who's had a very stable, happy life, but maybe you want to do something new. Maybe you're getting a bit bored and you want to write a book and you've never written a book before. Then your subconscious is probably thinking, ooh, this could be worrying. This is something new. And it could be that that's holding you back. A related fear is the fear of success. This is where we associate what we're going to do with the potential for being successful. Now hear me out on this, because many people think fear of success doesn't occur. And why would you be afraid of being successful? Well, for a lot of us, we've already got a good set of friends who are fairly unsuccessful, let's say. And there is a group thing in many cultures, especially in British and Australian cultures, where we don't actually appreciate successful people as much as, say, the US. And even people in the US, it may be that everybody's quite happy being a failure. And then you see on Instagram all these pictures of people who are posting quite garish pictures of themselves in front of cars with money and big mansions. And you think, well, that's not really for me. So maybe I don't want to be successful. Now, you're not thinking this on a conscious level, but maybe you're thinking this on an unconscious level. And I have to admit, at times I've suffered a little bit from this. Hopefully I'm getting over that now. Of course, there's the much talked about fear of failure. This is where you're kind of lacking confidence in what you're going to be doing. Though more likely it's actually you're lacking confidence in yourself. If I do this and I fail, everybody will make fun of me. I'll look like a failure. As I discussed in a previous show, actually, the risk of failure now, while no lower than it used to be, the actual cost of failure is a lot lower for these activities. For example, if you self-publish a book, and you're fairly sensible with the amount of money you spend on it, then nobody's necessarily going to come around your house and laugh at you because you've self-published a book. If you did a poor job, you can always change it, at least with ebooks. So the actual risks of failure now are a lot lower in a way. Now let me restate that. The risk of failure is the same, but the cost of failure is so much lower than it used to be. So I'm not sure the fear of failure necessarily has to be a block. But obviously, if you don't really understand the process and you haven't looked at the worst case, the best case, and the mid-case scenario, in terms of things, then you might suffer from a fear of failure. And that may be the cause of your block. Another fairly common reason to be blocked is that you don't know where to start. Now, obviously, this is an easy thing to fix, though it may take you some work and cost to do this. You need to find a mentor or somebody or some kind of training that you can get to actually tell you where to start. For example, in self-publishing, listening to this show wouldn't be a bad way to work out where to start. And I've recently created a free email course that you can get to beginselfpublishing.com. You just have to sign up to my mailing list and I'll send you 8 emails taking you roughly through what you need to do in terms of self-publishing an ebook. So you can sign up for something like that. Of course, if I'd actually got my act together and created this Udemy course, I could refer you to that. Udemy is a video training platform, by the way, where you have 5-minute videos. You have about 20 or 30 5-minute videos on a topic, and it takes you through it, usually fairly competitively priced as well. Another reason for being blocked is that we are waiting for something. We can't do the activity because we need more money, it's not the right time, or we need something to become available. Now, sometimes this is a genuine reason for being blocked on something, but often it's a cover-up excuse for one of the other reasons. Certainly money is often an excuse used for why people don't do things, but often this is just an excuse to cover up the fact that they're scared of success. Fear of success is the one that's often covered up the most.
You're listening to the Begin Self-Publishing Podcast with Tim Lewis.
So how do you overcome a block? I can't give you any hard and fast answers here, as I still get blocked, as I've said before. However, just by thinking about the issue, I think you can get some idea what the cause might be. If you just feel unprepared or don't know where to start, then obviously training or a mentor can be the answer. In many cases, though, this is just covering up one of the other reasons. A lot of the time, you just need to push through the block. This is akin to leaping into the dark. One way to make this leap a lot easier is to do it with other people doing the same activity. For example, I had a block on podcasting. It took me a whole year to get round to actually launching a podcast. The way I managed to overcome the block is that I did a training course with a load of other people at the same time. It was an online training course, Cliff Ravenscraft's A to Z course. But you do a training course with about 20 other people. It wasn't really the technical knowledge that I got from doing it. It was the fact that I was doing it with other people. If you see other people doing it, then you can compare yourself to them and say, well, maybe if they can do it, I can do it. It makes the leap of faith much less scary. It's also probably a good idea to do it where you've got somebody as a mentor who's done it before to help you along with the process. But even without that, like with NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month, I've written 2 novels in NaNoWriMo, and I haven't written a novel in any other time of the year. Another way that I've worked around a block is to see it as an experiment, or as not very important. In some ways, this is what I did with my first novella. It wasn't that long, and I wanted to see what self-publishing an ebook was like. It was almost like an experiment, much more than a commitment. I wasn't expecting it to be that successful or to make any money. But I also stumbled across another way of overcoming a block, which is to do a very small version of whatever you're trying to do. For example, could you write and self-publish a short story or a novella? In my Udemy example, what I might have to do is do a very small Udemy video course. The advantage of doing something small means that you can overcome an awful lot of the blocks. For fear of the new, if you do something small first, then it means that the next time you do it, it won't be so new. So you can do a small activity and then do a bigger activity later. Fear of success, you can do it, and if you were successful, you'll see that actually you didn't turn into Instagram mansion man. And if it wasn't successful, then you'll know that actually it doesn't necessarily mean that doing this activity will make you successful. In both cases, it will sort of trick your unconscious into making it easier the next time. A similar way around with failure. If you do something small and it fails, then you actually see the cost of failure isn't that big at all. And if you succeed, then obviously you'll have more confidence in doing it, and that will help you in the future. And if you don't know where to start, then you'll learn what you need to learn to create the small version, and it'll give you more confidence with the later versions. And if you were waiting for something, and you had enough resources to do the small version, you can actually consider whether it's worth taking the bigger risk and actually doing the bigger version, and whether this actually is the real reason why you couldn't do the activity. Another way that I've started to work out how to overcome my own blocks is in terms of accountability. The reason why I know this is true for me is I did Gretchen Rubin's 4 tendencies test, where she gives a very good way of splitting people up into 4 tendencies. I'm what's known as an obliger, so I respond to external motivation rather than internal motivation. So I need other people to motivate me. One way I've started to do this is by joining a mastermind group. But there are other ways of getting accountability. Like, for example, I'm going to attempt to do it on this podcast. As a means to ensure that I've actually got some people waiting on me to create a Udemy course, I'm going to do an offer. For the first 25 of you that sign up for my email course, means giving up your email, but you'll get a free cheat sheet, and you'll also get emails every 3 days telling you how to self-publish. For the first 25 people that sign up, I'll give them a voucher to the Udemy course. That means it's 100% free for them. For everybody else who signs up afterwards, I'll give them a 50% off voucher. Hopefully this will encourage some of you to sign up and be expecting me to provide you with a Udemy course. Hopefully that will give me enough motivation to actually finish it and overcome my block. The trouble with blocks, as you may well know, is that they block not just the thing you're working on, but everything else. You worry about the block much more than you need to. And if you can somehow overcome it, it makes a fantastic difference to your life. We've all had it. I had a block when I was trying to leave my work. It took me a year to do that. I've had a block on podcasting. It took me a year to do that. And it's taken me quite a while to get to the point where I'm going to start producing a course. If you can personally work out what sort of personality you've got and the reasons why you get blocked on things. Sometimes you just need to work out that you are blocked on something. There's people I've seen who are blocked on things, but they don't even realise they're blocked. It obviously goes way beyond just writing and other activities, but writing is the thing that people most associate a block with. So hopefully this has been of some help to you. Maybe you're one of the lucky people who never gets blocked on anything, in which case, well, see you in the next show. But if you are blocked, then maybe consider what is the reason why you're being blocked on either writing a novel, or maybe some other activity. And then just try and work out a way that you can overcome that block. Blocks are the biggest psychological barrier to self-publishing and to most other online activity, apart from various issues with loneliness and homeworking that I've said before. So if you can work out how to overcome your own blocks, then you'll be much more successful. Talk to you guys next week.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed today's show, please stop by iTunes and rate and leave a review. This helps make the show more visible. For free resources, show notes, and other helpful content, join the community at beginselfpublishing.com.